This is He Knows Everything, bringing you the heat and far. We keeping a foot on the whoop. Geeks. We keeping a foot on the whoop. Geeks. Let's talk about it, man. See, this is what He Knows Everything was talking about when he said that there's a lot of people out there, they will do anything and everything to spit on the Caleb Plants of the world because they want to prove a quintessential point that they are fanboys of Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez is a fighter who has been revealed as one who is dirty. Boxing community fan bases, they don't keep the same energy when it's associated with Canelo Alvarez. What they tell you is that Canelo Alvarez, although he's dirty, although he's a cheat, although he is a guy who's basically eating tainted or dirty meat. I don't even know what that means. Only in Mexico can they blame it on tainted or dirty meat. Mexicans already have a dichotomy that when you look at it and it's associated with them, it's negative. There's nothing about the connotation that's associated with being Mexican when it comes to the way that they've been demoralized, the way that they've been talked trash about, the butt of all jokes, Mexican immigrants, and how they basically are the ones that could be the person you use as an illegal immigrant. You would think that they would have, something on their shoulder to push them to say that, no, we're not going to be treated this way. We're not going to be vilified this way. We're not going to be basically put in a position where people feel they can talk trash about us in any kind of precarious situation. But that's just the reality of it. A lot of Mexicans, they're treated like dog shit. They don't give a fuck that they're treated like dog shit. And that's even what's worse about the whole situation. They don't care that they're looked upon in people's eyes as such. But what you find with them, which is very prevalent and which is very true, is they are obedient type of individuals. They will at default go for somebody even if the person is spitting in their face. That's just the way it rolls when you're talking about Mexicans. This is why they vehemently root for a Caucasian fighter in Canelo Alvarez. They root for somebody who basically isn't Mexican. But yet, he could cheat all he wants. He could basically do whatever he wants in the sport of boxing, and it's taboo. It's basically looked upon as if nothing happened. They look at it as if they're not looking at it. Basically, they are what we would say undressing it. But when it comes to other fighters, like an Earl Spence, a Jamal Charlo, a Demetrius Andrade, boxing fans don't keep the same energy, man. Caleb Plant, I don't know if he's going to win against Canelo Alvarez. I can be honest about that. But he's talking a good talk. He's walking a good walk. And Caleb Plant has basically put himself in a position where he's done something that no other fighter has been able to do to Canelo Alvarez, which is unnerve him, basically rattle him. The last time we've seen this rattling was from the Arislandi Laras of the world, the Floyd Mayweathers of the world. These guys rattled Canelo Alvarez. They rattled his fucking cage. Caleb Plant is proving to the world that he's not a punk. Now, a lot of people look at, the way the exchange happened between them. That's press conference bullshit, man. This whole thing where he has a cut over the eye, that's bullshit. Oh, Canelo Alvarez got him. You know what I'm saying? He countered him with a 1 and 2. You know, what you find is a lot of inferior males. They love to basically gloat, and they basically love to laugh, and they basically love to enjoy themselves and get enthused by things that are of inferiority. The fight hasn't happened. Last time I checked, the fight takes place November 6th. I don't know if Caleb Plant's going to win the fight, but I like his confidence. I like the fact that he employed Andre Ward. And what I like is the fact that he was able to finally show in a very long time that Canelo Alvarez can look uncomfortable. That Canelo Alvarez can basically have somebody get under his skin. But let's look at the deep root of what Caleb Plant said. Did he say anything that was not true? That Canelo Alvarez basically was dirty? Basically was suspended for 6+ months? Was he lying about that? Or was he telling a fundamental truth? Was he telling something that we all know as fight fans is true? Did anything happen to Canelo? That's the bigger picture issue here. That's the bigger hot pocket topic here. Nothing actually took place. Nothing actually happened to him. But it stands true that this guy right here was discovered of having clean blue to raw in his system. Now, something like that has made Canelo Alvarez sensitive because Canelo Alvarez has taken criticisms from the likes of Bernard Hopkins, a guy who previously, when Canelo was under Golden Boy Promotions, basically riled Canelo Alvarez and said, why don't you just put the work in the gym instead of you taking something to try to help your stamina? Now, it's not unconventional for boxing fans to not know that Canelo Alvarez has stamina issues. We know this to be true. So this is why Clinton Bluterall was taken. It was supposed to nullify the fact that this guy doesn't go past 6 rounds and look like he's still of 100% performance. So Caleb Plant was telling something that was true. Caleb Plant talked about Oscar Valdez and talked about the whole team and how the whole team was basically filled with trash and the whole team is basically filled with drug cheating ways. Now, was he wrong about that? Oscar Valdez was able to have a fight. This is what's trippy about boxing. This is why boxing has a double standards. Black fighters cannot get away with not even an inch of what Mexican fighters can get away with, especially when it's a Canelo Alvarez team. This is why it's taboo. This is why it's surreal. This is why it makes absolutely no sense why black fight fans would support a Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez doesn't give 2 flying shits about black fight fans. This is what trips me out. He doesn't care about you guys. He damn sure don't care about these black fighters because he's not giving them opportunities. He's not giving Jamal Charlo the proper opportunity. You have Mexican community fans want to tell you, well, you know, he gave Jamal Charlo an offer. No, he didn't. He gave him a bullshit offer. It's a super fight. So a super fight denotes that there has to be a super fight offer. Let me say it again. A super fight denotes that there has to be a super fight offer. He knows that Jamal Charlo is everything that poses the boxing inevitable, scary, and petrification threat to him. So that's why he came out with that bullshit offer, so that his fans can erroneously say that an offer was placed on the table. Demetrius Andrade should be an easy fucking fight to make because Canelo Alvarez is no longer under Golden Boy Promotion. Even easier now. DAZN. Don't give me this shit that Canelo Alvarez is a 168 pounder. The motherfucker couldn't make 160. He ran out of 160 because he didn't want to fight Jamal Charlo and he didn't want to fight Demetrius Andrade. We got to call a spade here. We got to keep it real. We got to keep it a buck and we got to keep it 1,000. So when Caleb Plant says all of these things that he's saying, what is he saying that's not right or wrong here? I'm going to tell you something. Everything that this motherfucker said is right. There's nothing that he said that's not wrong. If you're being honest with yourself, if you're basically, as a fight fan, telling yourself that Canelo Alvarez is a dirty fighter and that he is not a great representation of the sport of boxing. You hear Canelo Alvarez is the #1 pound for pound. But what we don't hear is he's a cheater. What we hear is Canelo Alvarez is a cash cow. So why did he have to run the PBC if he is a cash cow? He's a money maker, not a money generator. Who's basically now allowing him to have pay-per-view again? Al fucking Heyman, PBC. Because who's promoting? Who's advising? Who's pushing this fight? It's PBC. And that's why this fight is actually on pay-per-view. Because any DAZN bullshit app fights that Canelo Alvarez had, there was no pay-per-view associated behind that. There was no pay-per-view numbers. There was no back-end numbers. There was no nothing. Fight fans don't want to be honest with this, man. But you're not going to find something more cold-hearted, more unadulterated, and more cutthroat truth-teller fashion than what you're finding right here on this channel, on this broadcast that is basically serving you right now at this very self-same moment. See, what people don't understand is Canelo Alvarez is not the boxer that people think that he is. Now, can Caleb Plant be the one to reveal it? I surely fucking hope so. I hope that Caleb Plant is focused. He's locked in. And that his mindset is there to expose the likes of a Canelo Alvarez. I'm pushing for it. And the reason why I'm pushing for this is because if he does have the makeup, if he does have the mindset, and if he basically locks in and focuses the concentration on basically saying that, you know what, I don't give a fuck that you're Canelo Alvarez, and I'm coming into this ring and I'm going to showcase to you that I have the ultimate confidence in the world to dethrone you. Now we have a fucking fight. Now fight fans can clamor about something. Now fight fans can gear themselves up. Now fight fans can basically look at this and say, you know what? Caleb Plant is for real. Caleb Plant ain't playing. And Caleb Plant is about to dethrone Canelo Alvarez. This is what I want come November 6th.
Go ahead.
But it's not about what I want. It's about what Caleb Plant can deliver. It's about what Caleb Plant is going to show up that night. Is he going to have the mental fortitude to block out all of these Cinnamon Alvarez fanboys? Is he going to have the mental fortitude to say that, you know what, in my intestinal fortitude, I'm going to showcase that I'm not afraid of this guy. I'm not intimidated by this guy. Because this is what we've been getting. Fighters that have been stepping into the ring, intimidated, taking whatever kind of rehydration clause, wounded animal, cherry picking, boxing judging, gifting decision, taking anything that is less than not having a full 9 to 13 week training camp, basically taking whatever Canelo throws their way. Now, Caleb Plant, no excuses, because he does have the full training camp. No excuses. You got the backing of Al Heyman. No excuses. Andre Ward is teaching you. So the excuses are out the door. You notice HeKnowsEverything is not sitting here saying or trying to make some kind of narrative if Caleb Plant loses. I'm not doing that shit. There's no room for it. I like the way that Caleb Plant's talking. I like the way that he's moving. But I would love to see him beat all odds. I would love to see Caleb Plant dethrone this fake fucking champion. This fake boxer. This LeBron James of boxing. I would love it. I would basically be celebrated by it. Because I know what it would mean to the sport of boxing. To see this guy, who everybody keeps saying is the pound for pound, supposedly #1 fighter, gets exposed at his truest and his most properest levels. Canelo Alvarez has always been a fraudulent boxer. This happened when Floyd Mayweather exposed him. He never gave Erislandy Lar that rematch when Erislandy Lar Pernell Whitaker to Julio Cesar Chavez him. That's for the real G's, the super real G's, and the ultimate real G's out here in these boxing streets that understand what I'm talking about here. So when you root for Canelo Alvarez, what you're saying is that as a fight fan, you're a fraud. Because Canelo Alvarez is a fraudulent boxer. Now that's the cold-hearted. That's the unadulterated. That's the cutthroat truth-teller fashion. When it's all said and done, Caleb Plant, I hope you shock the world. But we know what odds are against you. We know that you're set up to fail. The question is, are you going to say, fuck being set up to fail? Fuck me basically thinking that I'm going to sit here and just sit back, and basically lay down? Or are you going to step up to the fucking plate, fight Canelo Alvarez, take it toe-to-toe with him, and don't back down? Because if you do this, come November 6th, we have a new fucking champion in boxing. We have an undisputed new fucking champion in boxing. And that's what I would want to see. But the question is, and it's $1 million question, will that actually happen and will that actually take place? I'll tune in come November 6th. I know boxing fans are going to tune in. So when it's all said and done, when you root for Canelo Alvarez, you're rooting for a fraudulent boxer. Now, come November 6th, Canelo Alvarez wins. I'll give him credit for it. I'll say that Canelo Alvarez actually won a fight where he was pushed mentally, where his mental fortitude was basically tested and he delivered. This would be the first time that Canelo Alvarez would get actual credit from HeKnowsEverything for a real fucking fight. Because there's no Danny Jacobs paid to lose. There's no Sergey Kovalev super paid to lose. There's no Caleb Smith draining him of a full 9 to 13 week training camp. There's no BJ Saunders signing a slave boxing judging gifting decision clause. None of that was there. So he actually finally gets credit for a fucking fight in 5 fucking years. That'd be the first credit he ever gets from HeKnowsEverything. But the question is, can he get it fucking done come November 6th? This is what we as fight fans are tuning into. When it's all said and done, November 6th is going to tell us a whole fucking lot. This is HeKnowsEverything. Check it out.